What is going on, my beautiful LARPers and LARPettes? Today we're going to go over the Wesson DWX Compact and what is the major differences between the compact and the full size that you see here. Now, before I get into all that though, what is my relationship with CZ? I did purchase this Wesson full size here, but CZ did send me this Wesson compact when it was first released. And if you missed it, I did put up a review on this compact version on my channel, so just scroll like maybe 3 or 4 videos down and you'll find it there. But I'm gonna focus only on the similarities and differences in this video here. The first similarity that you're gonna see is the slide. The slide design is essentially the same exact design. It's just a shortened version of the slide. And that's gonna go for the barrel as well. The barrel on this one is a 4-inch barrel. The one on the full size is almost a 5-inch barrel, like 4.9 or something like that. So you get an inch difference in the barrel length. And to many people, that inch difference may not be a big issue, but if you don't have a good personality, that inch may be your make it or break it moment, you know? Now moving on to another similarity, the triggers are essentially the same on the two. You can see there, they're even the same exact color, design, shape, and all that. As well as the beaver tail back here, you're gonna see on the DWX full size and the DWX compact. And the hammers are identical as well. Also on the barrels, you do get a reverse crown on both of those there. Now, as far as similarities go, guys, that's pretty much it. I mean, there's quite a bit of differences between the two here, obviously, because one's bigger than the other, but you're gonna have some design differences here as well, and I'm gonna go over those right now. I did want to mention that the internals are basically the same, but I'll get into that a little bit later. It's gonna be pretty exciting when I start speaking about the internals here. But starting off with the sights, you're going to have different sights on each of these. On the compact version, you're going to have your traditional like combat carries. I don't know what to call them. They're more tactical type sights, right? So you have your blacked out rear that has like this hook thing back here that's you're able to like rack it off of a table or something like that. Then you have your bright greenish yellow front sight, but it's also tritium on the inside, so that will glow in the dark. And on the full size version, you have a fiber optic front sight and you have a blacked out rear, but this is adjustable for windage and elevation, and it's smooth on top, so you can't really rack that off of anything if you wanted to. Now, next thing, the major aesthetic difference that you're going to see here is going to be the light rail or the accessory rail. This one does have an accessory rail. This one on the DWX Compact does not have a accessory rail, which I was really bummed out that it didn't come with an accessory rail, but they do have a version with an accessory rail. So I looked on their website, it says add to cart on there, so I'm assuming they're available, but just double check on that. But I would prefer the light rail version over this one here. Now, next up, moving on back, the trigger guard. The trigger guard on the DWX Compact is rounded off as opposed to, hopefully I can get a good video here. Let me take off this light. On the full size here, you do have like a 90-degree angle on the trigger guard, and on the front of the trigger guard, you do get some checkering. For those of you that like to put their index finger right at the front there to give you a little bit more leverage when you're shooting, that texturing does help out. Unfortunately, on the compact version, you don't have that. The slide releases are a little bit different. On the full size, you do have an extended slide release, and on the compact, it's a little bit shortened down. On the mag releases is essentially the same exact mag release, but on the full size, you do have different checkering on that one compared to the compact. The compact is kind of like straight up and down lines, and on the full size, you do have like the checkering that's all around the grip. And I'll get into the grip in a second. But next up is the safeties. This is another thing that I was bummed out when this one first came out, is that it's not ambidextrous. So you only have one on the left side of the firearm here, and on the DWX full size, you do have an ambidextrous safety there. And on the compact, it's a little bit shortened down. Well, it looks like a lot of bit shortened down compared to the full size here. Next up are the grips. The grips are a little bit different in the way they are designed. So if you look at the front, the back, and the side panels here, it blends really well with the grips here. They give it this grenade look. I believe that's what the grips are actually called. The side panels are actually called like grenade Harrington grips or something like that. But on the front and the back, you do get that grenade type texturing or checkering or whatever you call it. And on the full size, you do have this very small checkering that you see on the front and the back, and the grip as well. I prefer this grip a little bit more than this one here. It just feels more positive in my hands. I feel like if I was a little bit more sweaty or dirty, this one would give me a little bit more leverage or positive contact when I'm shooting it. Not saying anything is wrong with the grip on the DWX compact. I'm just saying this one doesn't feel as aggressive as the full size. Now, lastly is the magazines. The magazines has a lot to do with the design of the grip as well. So the magazines on the full size are P09 magazines, and on the compact are CZ75 type magazines. You cannot put the DWX full size magazines into the compact version, but you can put the 75 magazines into the full size. I just don't know. I don't think they're gonna run right on there. Now I'm trying to figure out why they went with two different styles of magazines and grip sizes. So if you're looking at the compact version, it's thinner than the full size just because the P09 magazines are thicker than the 75 magazines. I prefer a slimmer grip just because I have smaller hands. Those of you that prefer a larger grip probably prefer the Dan Wesson DWX full size, and I apologize if I call these CZs. I usually get the names mixed up, but it's essentially the same company, right? So the slimmer version is more comfortable for me than the full size, but I kind of wish that they just went with one style of grip and magazine, right? Just because I do have P09s, I do have 75s. I would just like to have one type of magazine for a majority of my guns instead of me just going out and buying a stockpile of two different magazines. But the reason why they went with the 75 magazines on the compact version is to give you a slimmer profile when you're carrying it, right? I mean, you can still carry this full size. It's just probably going to be uncomfortable while you're carrying it. Now, other than that, that's pretty much the major differences between the two. You might think that they're the same exact gun, which they kind of are, but the major difference is going to be the magazines. But the cool similarity between the two is the fact that they're using the same exact, similar to the SIG grip module or the FCU, fire control unit. You can also take this portion here. I'm going to show it up on closer. You can see that there's a part that you can pick up out of that and put it into a different grip. And I was interested to see if I was able to swap these two around, and I'll do a quick little bit of movie magic here. And you can. So this was really interesting to put together just because this is now a like DWX compact long slide. I think if it had an accessory rail, it'd look really cool with a light underneath. So you're essentially getting like a Glock 19X, or not a 19X. It's like the opposite of a 19X, right? You have a shorter grip and a longer slide. What is they have a version of that. They have the CZP10 SF or long slide short frame. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is really, really cool, to be honest. I am very interested if this is going to function properly. I unfortunately did not think of this when I was out shooting, and I wish I did so I can see it function, but everything is telling me that it is going to function. And if it does function, that's going to open a lot of opportunity and doors for people that are into customizing their guns, right? They're going to put all types of different grip modules and stuff like that, and hopefully somebody comes out with maybe like a Fluxrator type grip module that they can drop the slide and the FCU into. And I think just having this is really cool. But unfortunately, I'm not able to get this one to work properly. I can't put this slide release piece onto here. And when I do try to function that, it's kind of gets stuck and weird on me. So let me just leave it like that before I mess anything up. But this one works completely fine. I was even able to put the extended slide release on this one here. So those of you that do have a DWX compact and want to get an extended slide release there, you can put that on there. But really cool that you can do that, guys. Maybe I should just do a review if it does shoot and just do a DWX SF long slide. I don't know what I'm gonna call it. But aside from that, CZ75 magazines on a DWX long slide short frame, and it locks perfectly fine. But there you have it, guys, the Dan Wesson DWX compact and the DWX full size. I'm really hoping that I didn't get this jammed up to the point where I can't unjam it, but let me worry about that when I turn off the camera. So DWX compact, DWX full size, some differences, some similarities. It's all gonna boil down to what you want to carry. So if you're in the market for a full size competition style gun, I'd go with the DWX full size. And if you're in the market for a carry gun, but you want to have a 2011 style CZ hybrid, I would go with the compact, but I would personally go with the one with the light rail on there. And hopefully sometime soon, they'll come out with an optic cut version. And maybe after watching this video, you guys could convince them to make a long slide short frame version with a rail and optic cut. That would be a pretty badass combination. So thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all. Catch you in the next one. Oh no. Got it. Wait, did I get it to work? Almost. It's like almost falling into battery. The tolerances are a little bit off. If I do that, it works. I'm getting excited. Not too excited. You guys are gonna have to stay tuned for another video on these.